Hello friends, it has been a long time since we have made a video in this channel or in English. So there is also a Tamil channel. In that channel we have been making a series of videos relating to group 1 and group 2 and related to UPSC also, but in English channel we have not been able to make videos continuously. But today we will see one video, or today we will see some there is one important there is in as soon as somebody comes into civil services examination, the first thing or the first question that arises is what is the meaning of life. Because there were some many friends. Usually what happens, we will be reading, but at maybe close of the night, so maybe at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, this question definitely comes: what is the meaning of life? What are we doing? Will we clear this exam? Are we going in the right direction? So these kinds of things would arise, and that question arose in my mind also, and that is why one of my friend or one of my senior gifted me this book called as Myth of Sisyphus. This book actually talks about the meaning of life and things, and this there is a story about a person or a king who is called as Sisyphus. The king would be or forbidden or given the highest punishment in the world, or there will be so many punishments in India. If you think about it, there are so many punishments in Purana saying that you have to pick the nails, or you have to put them in oil and you have to fry them. So many painful procedures are there, but these procedures are there in Greece also. What the gods, or what Sisyphus their god was as punishment was stone. Carry a stone, very big stone, up a mountain, and when he takes that up a mountain, then he has to, or the stone will be pushed down, then again he has to carry. So this is the punishment that Sisyphus got. And if you think about it, in terms of how we live, actually Sisyphus will overlap. How does that overlap? That is what we are going to see in this video. So let us go into this video, and we'll see the review of this book also. So if we think about it, our life is very close to what I have explained about Sisyphus, and we repeat things, right? When you come to civil services, you would have thought this definitely. What are we doing every day? We eat, sleep, then go to class, then read, go to class, read, eat, sleep, then wake up, then sleep, eat, or go to class. Or for people writing many times, or I used to feel like that. Prelims, mains, interview, then prelims, mains, interviews, then prelims, mains, interview. What is this thing that is keep on coming in a circle? This kind of thoughts definitely would come. I definitely got this thought. But the point is that what Albert Camus explains in this is that this is not very peculiar for only civil services aspirant or for any other person doing monotonous jobs. This book actually was written at the time of, for example, 1940s. This was at a time when the industrialization or industries were there in a very prominent fashion since the time of industrialization. If you looked at the social thinkers, so Karl Marx, or for example in public administration, Taylor, Fayol, anyone who would have gone through these thinkers, they would have gotten this idea of factories where people worked, and usually they worked from this morning till evening or night. They were given this heavy work, and that is why this Karl Marx and socialism, communism came. All these things are history, but the point is that those workers had to work for a long time, and it was a monotonous. And as Taylor, so anyone in public administration would know this, Taylor said cut the things, or cut the process into simple things, small jobs. And that small jobs, if you see, like one step in a very big machine. So you will become a very small cog in a very big machine, and that is what Karl Marx says by alienation. So that is why the process of socialism and communism came. That is, you are doing some work and you are alienated from the work because you do not see the complete work of something. So that is the point, and that is what Camus also addresses. And Camus also thinks about these people and their work. They are going to the office, they are going to the factory, every day they are going. What do they do? Or how this, or whether one day, so for example, one day that person might think, what is my life? What is that I am doing? So this is what is called as a existential crisis. And Albert Camus, Kafka, and Dostoevsky, all these are thinkers who addressed this existential crisis. And people may think that these authors are very depressing, but in a way they are actually liberating. For example, many of the people will not be able to handle this truth, or that the truth is that is there is less meaning to life, and there is a more monotony to life. Every day you have to wake up, do the same things, and go to work. And if you think about it, Albert Camus in this book addresses these things. If he says that this problem which is there, people usually escape this problem. And I have seen this escaping, that for example, I have seen people say that I'm a workaholic. See, nobody can be a workaholic. You can love your work. I can understand that. I can understand somebody is working for some time. You are working on a project. You are working for example, Karl Marx gives this example of a potter. Potter making a complete potter, and through that getting meaning to his or her life. Similarly, if you see, there can be good things through your work, but burning yourself out, for example, in civil services, this point comes, right? How long somebody has to read. I read 16 hours a day, I read 12 hours a day. See, you are going to burn yourself out. And the point is that what you are doing is that you are escaping from the truth that this is a monotonous thing, this is a continuous thing, this is a perseverance oriented thing which you have to do. And this is even if you are escaping through what Albert Camus says, there are 3-4 ways of escaping this. But this is a good way. If you are working for a very long time, take care of your health, but it is a good thing. But other things is that he talks about God. So if, for example, what is the meaning? Somebody asks, what is the meaning of life? So if why am I writing this many times? So every time I'm writing this examination, I'm not able to clear. So you immediately, if you see, there is no answer for that. If you look closely, there will be no answer. And hence, but what people will say is that there is a higher purpose. God has a higher purpose. That answer I have heard so several times. What higher purpose? No one will know. No one will tell you what is that higher purpose, but there will be a higher purpose. But you think about it. And one other thing also, you can think about other things where if you see, people escape this truth using this Instagram. If you see Instagram is a very touchy subject, so I should not hurt somebody, but think about it. We actually even I do that. But we upload pictures of, for example, when you're bored, so somebody gets married and they upload their picture, and then that becomes boring, then that they upload the pictures of the baby. So this keeps coming, and if you think about it, it all comes down to this monotonous pushing of rocks up the mountain, and every day you are doing the same thing. And instead of that is the point. So when you sit, you will start questioning, why am I doing? So if you stop and look at this truth, bare truth, so all that you will see is absurdity. So that is what you see. So instead of thinking about this absurdity which we are doing, so we will escape. But so you can ask me, so then what? Life is absurd. So then what should we do? And so should we end our life? So that is what this book is about. Actually, this book is about, it starts with suicide. So what is the reason for that? And if you think about it, he starts with that and goes back to this reasoning of why somebody does that. And that the answer that he arrives is that person confronts this truth of absurdity. That is what he says. That person, when he confronts this truth of absurdity and is not able to escape. So that is the point. So in a way, Instagram or Facebook or this travel or everything is workaholic, whichever thing. Or he talks also about alcoholism. So somebody goes into alcoholism also. All these are methodologies that people use for stepping away from the truth. But is there no other way for coming out of this? Means that for that he gives an answer. Every day facing that truth that this is, yes, this is what we are doing, and accepting it and living it is what is life of a rebellion. That is what he says. So instead of saying that God is there, or alcoholism, workaholism, or this doing something which actually distracts you from the real truth, what you do is that you confront the truth as a rebel. So that is what he says, confront it every day. And those who are not able to do that, that is the reason for suicide, is what he's saying. But if you think about it, this myth of Sisyphus is actually a liberating concept. That is the point. So this absurdity, you can think, what is this philosophy of being absurd? What is this book? You can think. But if you look closely the story of Sisyphus, as you might, as I earlier explained, was a person, or he was a king. Like in there are so many states in India. Like that in Greece, there is a state called as Corinth. So he was the king of that. And also in like the mythological stories in India, there are all mythological stories in Greece also. In that there is a god called as Zeus. And if you see, Zeus will have a lot of comparison to what Indra is here. Like in Indra, who does so many mischiefs here in the stories, mythological stories, Zeus also was one such person. And if you think about it, Zeus, what he does is that he kidnaps the daughter of water god, and he takes to Corinth, and Sisyphus happens to see that. And Zeus says, do not tell this to anyone. So Sisyphus is like, okay, I will not tell it to anyone. But Sisyphus, what he does is, that is the point. See, he is a person who is very, very fun, and the fun living and things like that. So he tells the water god, saying that I will tell you where your daughter is if you provide water to my city. So he gets the water, but at the same time, Zeus becomes very angry. Saying that, see, I told you very categorically, do not tell the person that I have kidnapped his daughter, but you told. So what I will do is that I'm going to punish you. I'm going to condemn you to death. So not death. In a sense, he condemns that person. So he asks death to confiscate to Sisyphus. So one time death confiscates Sisyphus, but Sisyphus, what he does is that, as I told you, he is like an enjoying person, he is like a very fun person. He actually chains death and escapes death. That is, he escapes death by chaining the person, and Zeus becomes even more angry. And that is why Zeus thought about one big problem, or big something, that some punishment should be given to Sisyphus, that he should not escape at all. And that punishment is what is called as this pushing the stone up the mountain, and by the end of the evening, stone will come down. You have to push it again, then it will come down, then you have to push it again. So this process, if you see, is what is the punishment for Zeus. And if you think about it, that is why I was also not able to do videos also. Every day video class. So this kind of, see, it hits you in your face at one time. And but the point is that, so should we give up? So as Albert Camus says, so when truth strikes in your face, should we give up and leave this place? Or for example, when you have given so many attempts and it does not work out, let us assume, see, I as a person, it did not work out. So many said that, yes, so many said the example of God has a higher purpose, or I could have actually drowned all these things in many other ways. But facing the truth of it did not happen. Yes, facing the truth of it. If it did not happen, what is the next part? In this story also, what Albert Camus is saying is that the meaning is in, so if you think about it, you should imagine Sisyphus not as sad. You should imagine Sisyphus as happy, he says. Why? Because the moment Sisyphus takes the stone up, so the feet will be bloody, or the hands will be sore, or the face will be contorted, the face will be so many people will be throwing stones at you. But at the end of the day, you take the stone to the peak and the stone comes down. But what Albert Camus says is that the way in which you drop down from the mountain, with such kind of confidence, and then you take up the stone up, that is what is the meaning of life, he says. And for me also, I understood the fact that yes, writing this many times the final result did not come, that does not mean that, see, once not only me, many would, for example, will be writing mains this time, they would have already gone to interview, they would feel a little heavy, not little, very heavy. So it is not an easy thing, for example, to go to an interview and then start writing prelims, mains, and then again write mains and then wait for the interview. So it is going to be a very heavy process. I know that process also. But as Albert Camus says, or as we learn from the life of Sisyphus, when we carry the stone, you should not think about the heaviness. Rather, you should become what is that stone. So you should become that process. So yes, it is going to be heavy, but the meaning of whole thing, the meaning of the whole life lies in carrying the stone. So for example, today, tomorrow you can become an officer and you will remember carrying these stones up the hill every day and then dropping again, then carrying, as a wonderful memory, as these scars will tell you one day. So for me also, these scars tell a very wonderful story, that this many times so I took the stone up, then it went down, then stone up, then went down. But whether it is going to be a very bad thing, no, this book is kind of a liberating book, which says that you face the truth, that yes, it is going to be tough, it is going to be carrying stone up the mountain. You are going to face the truth that yes, it is going to be a monotonous thing. Yes, reading paper is going to be a monotonous thing. So instead of doing that, we escape. Instead of reading paper, we escape using materials. Instead of reading the standard books, we escape to materials. Instead of facing the truth that these are all monotonous things, these are all things which are very tough, these are all things like carrying the stone up the mountain. Instead of doing that, I take a very short route using materials. In the civil services, if you think about it, if like Sisyphus, if you are able to carry the stone every day for a period of time, you will definitely reach your success and definitely reach the meaning of life. As Albert Camus says, you will achieve your purpose, and you need not escape using any other means. This whole process of work itself will become a liberating thing for you, and this is the meaning of Myth of Sisyphus, the book. And if you had liked this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to Minds of Aspirant channel. There is also a Tamil channel, you can subscribe to that as well, and there is also a link for description of Telegram channels, Anthropology and TNPSC and UPSC main group is there. 3 links are there. You can click that and you can become a member of that, and you can ask any such doubts for UPSC, and I will be able to, or happy to, clear your doubts. So I hope this story of Myth of Sisyphus made some meaning to the things that you are watching and things that you are doing in your life. And thank you for watching this video. All the best.